Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for my rational perspective. Can it be rational? Is it coming home on Sunday against Italy? England 2, Denmark 1 after extra time. I've got a bit of a headache. It was stressful. It's hard to do these videos following such a high emotion game and trying to be rational and trying to analyze the game. I think that what Southgate, once again, and it's kind of something I've reiterated in every single England review I've done this summer, is I think Gareth Southgate deserves more and more praise. I just think the work he's done with this team since he took over in 2017 has been extraordinary. You know, to see this team go from an embarrassing exit in the last 16 in Euro 2016 to making it to the semi-finals of the World Cup in 2018, the semi-finals of the Nations League, but now to the final of Euro 2020. It's just wonderful work from Southgate. And it's not only the work of him as an assured, respected, I think brilliant leader for the national team, but I think it's also the players, the talent, but also the unity and chemistry this team has together. I keep on saying it's a very basic thing, but as someone who watched a lot of bad England sides growing up, you know, just seeing how awful they were and how disorganized, and they felt like a team that weren't together, that weren't unified, and we'd see teams, nations with less talent or supposed talent in England go further in tournaments. It's just, they're the right blend. There's some world-class players within there. There's some really confident players within there. There's some great young talent too. There is older players too who've experienced tournaments. It's just such a nice blend. And if they can go the distance on Sunday at Wembley, this will be personally the most ridiculous summer ever, because it started with Chelsea winning the Champions League and could continue with England winning Euro 2020. But this game was just mental. England faced a lot of adversity, as we'll get into in my review. But before we do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the uploads on the channel. Of course, covering not only Chelsea news, but also England at Euro 2020, all the way to the final this summer. And I want to say a massive thank you as well to Fanslide, who've been supporting all of my England content this summer as well. Fanslide is the world's first live in-play fantasy football game. You know it's live because they use Opta stats. There is prize money to be won on every single game at the Euros this summer, of course, including the final on Sunday. The way to use it is very easy. You slide players in and out using multiples. It's a fun second screen experience that I've been using throughout the Euros. So get down in the description box below, and also add me at SonOfChelsea on the app so you can compete with my score. Get your mates involved. Thank you, Fanslife, for supporting my content this summer surrounding England. But let's get into my review. The team lineup from Southgate wasn't that surprising. I think that probably it'd be similar to what I would have gone for. I think there was a little bit of discussion pre-game. Would Southgate match up Denmark and go for sort of a three-back system like he did against Germany that works well? But he stuck with the 4-2-3-1, which did bring a little bit of risk. But I think that at this stage of the tournament, maybe he felt the confidence in his attacking players that had grown in confidence, the likes of Raheem Sterling, who's been good from day one, but also mainly Harry Kane, who's really come into his own in the last few games, right at the correct time of the tournament. But bringing in Bukayo Saka, it just shows you how well Saka's done, because pre-tournament, when he was announced as sort of a squad player, I wasn't quite sure how much he'd fare in the tournament. It felt like a nice call-up for him, but the talent on show from Saka, it shows you the exciting lengths this team can go to in the future as well with a player like Saka, all the options Southgate has. So I think it made a lot of sense. I think we had a great start, and I think the crowd absolutely energized us. The crowd needed to be at their best, and they were, just like they were against Germany, even a little bit more tonight, absolutely, because of the stakes. But once Denmark rode that early storm from England, the nice things we were seeing in our game from previous rounds of the tournament, and Damsgaard, I think, was Denmark's most impressive player tonight. I think him and Kasper Schmeichel were kind of their two standout players. That's not only because of Damsgaard's amazing free kick that opened the scoring in the game. I just think the pockets of space he found consistently really troubled England in the first half, but also before he came off in the second half. And I was very glad he did come off, because it was not the same threat, I think, from Denmark, despite bringing on Poulsen after that, who did kind of drop a little bit deeper at times. The balls that were threaded through to Damsgaard, especially on the counter, you know, England were being done a lot more in transition in this game. I think that was down to Denmark's width, but also their ability to press and maybe play on some of the nerves, maybe a pressure within the England side, especially in that first half. And the goal itself, although was a brilliant finish from a free kick, I think it's the first free kick scored at this tournament, it wasn't against the run of play. You know, Denmark were finding those spaces, and it was becoming quite worrying for England. I know there's a bit of criticism of Jordan Pickford on that one. I'm kind of a little bit tired of it. I think we've gone overboard on sort of goalkeeper criticism at this time. And I think that sometimes a free kick is just a wonderful free kick. The only criticism you can have of Pickford is he's maybe too far to the other side. But I think it is just a wonderful strike. I really think it is. I think that if an England player scored that, I think I'd be praising him a bit more than I'd be criticising the keeper if we scored it. So I think it was brilliant. But it was that massive moment then for England to say, what are we going to do? Because, we kind of been done on the counter a little bit. If we concede a second, it's going to be a nightmare scenario. But the way we got back into the game, it seemed to refocus us. We got back our sort of pressure, but also kind of calmness that we needed on the ball a little bit more, and finally started to find the most dangerous players in our team, the likes of Harry Kane, who dropped a little bit deeper, and you saw for the equaliser, that's why he drops deeper, and he finds the ball for Saka. An amazing run from Bukayo Saka, a game-changing run from Saka. Sterling had sort of a similar run, sort of a similar move kind of a minute before the actual equaliser, where he probably should have scored, but Schmeichel had a brilliant night for Denmark. He really did try to do everything to keep them in this tournament. He's a brilliant keeper, but that was wonderful from Saka, the absolute brilliant winger play that just was brilliant for Kane to find. The ball gets played in, it's an own goal, but it gets England back into the game. And then you go into the second half, and I felt that England didn't really properly get going in terms of the game changing tone until kind of the last 15 minutes. I don't know if that was Denmark's fitness flagging and England's changes, bringing on Jack Grealish, maybe changing things up a little bit more. It felt like for a lot of the second half, it was very, very tense, and that's the experience watching it. And I'm sure for the players and everyone involved tonight, it was a difficult watch, and I think that sometimes maybe England were a little bit too passive, in terms of what they were doing, and maybe a little bit too tense. And I think that Denmark maybe were a little bit more invited to sort of come on in that second half. Eventually, though, I think that England found their rhythm again, started pressing Denmark back, threading those passes, really being patient in their play, but also incisive and finding the right pass to really stretch the play and also get the likes of Raheem Sterling one-on-one, who was a brilliant player for England tonight. And of course, we go into extra time and Raheem Sterling wins the penalty. Is it a penalty? Listen, if it's given against England, I'm not happy. But I think as an England fan who's watched Frank Lampard score a goal and it not be given and it be like miles over the line, I think we deserve a little bit of luck in this tournament. And Thomas Müller missing that chance. I think this one now, I think, of course we're going to take it. Harry Kane, who's usually incredible from the spot, with an awful penalty, but thank God Schmeichel's save just literally goes back into Harry Kane's feet and it's in the back of the net. It is 2-1. And the way we managed the second half, of course, they were down to 10 men in Denmark, so you kind of felt that they were flagging. They had a few corners, but never really threatened Jordan Pickford. And in the last few minutes, you could kind of tell the fitness levels. England were just dictating the play, passing it around. The crowd were enjoying it. And we got there in the end. And we're in the final against an amazing Italy side. Italy have been impressive from day one. They faced adversity, but they've got through. I think, there are equal reasons why you think both of these sides can win. I think it's a very, very even final, and I think that Italy will be another step for England. It really will. I think, Denmark have been brilliant, but I think Italy just all round have been such an amazing team during this tournament. But, England deserve to be there. And we'll see what can happen on Sunday. It would be absolutely ridiculous to be sat here on Sunday night talking about England lifting the Euros. But enjoy this moment. It's special. Southgate deserves a new contract after this tournament, absolutely. And I think his players have done wonderful things to create some special memories this summer. Thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.